What's up everyone, it's your boy Shaka here, coming to you with another episode of Marauders. Today I want to talk about some tips and tricks updates. So I want to do a little bit about the Red Baron, I want to do some about the L1, maybe a couple of other rifles as well, and just general team play tutorial stuff. Different things to improve you and your teammates' game, working together, and we'll do a little bit of a secret teaser announcement later. Alright, let's get into it. So disabling the ship is still always going to be a longer range weapon, so we're talking rocket turrets, howitzer. You could do it with the flak turret, but it does mean that you have to get a little bit closer and you have to kind of feather your distance from the Red Baron, otherwise it just turns around and claps you. But it's up to you, it's your own comfort level. The rust bucket's still going to take quite a few hits. I think it's probably about 17 hits that you need to land for it to actually disable a ship. It's not completely out of the range of possibilities, but it is a lot harder compared to other ships. So that tutorial tidbit's still going to stick. Now generally when I tried to grind the Red Baron, I would use a shield and tank all of his shots until he had to reload and then try to beat him to death with the shield. That does get a little bit tricky, especially now with the movement buff that he's got. He doesn't stick around at the same spot anymore. He's a little bit more agile. So we landed on the Heavy Thompson as the weapon to protect yourself from the Red Baron as you're shooting him. It's actually a really good weapon for mitigating headshots, and the Red Baron basically only does headshots. So again, you don't want to take his fights down hallways. Long hallways fighting with the Red Baron, especially with the Heavy Tommy, is not going to go great for you. But if you're able to stick to the right and the left side of the ship when you breach in, it's definitely going to be to your benefit rather than going through the middle where the engine is, because you do get stuck down those hallways where he might be and he just lasers you. But if you can get into a close combat fight like that, you're definitely going to be able to tank the shots. You're not going to die as easily with the Heavy Thompson, which is going to protect your head, and you'll just be able to have that firefight. And as long as you land those shots in your initial gunfight with him, you're likely going to survive pretty much every engagement. And it's nice to finally see the Heavy Tommy being a useful weapon. I don't normally vouch for this weapon. It's definitely not one that I would use in PvP for the most part, but it definitely has its moments where it's a good weapon. And using it against the Baron, it's pretty much a no-brainer. You're going to be able to farm him pretty easily with this gun. Alright, so I've been completely sideswiped by this one. I've had a couple of viewers comment saying that they thought the L1 was dead and gone, and that's just tacitly untrue. Yes, it did get nerfed, but it was broken before. It was way too strong. However, the nerf did not push it outside of the meta, and yeah, it is a bit of a rare weapon. You do have to get KA supply drop or UA supply drops to get the attachments as well as the actual L1, but in terms of weaponry, I would say the L1 is still one of the strongest weapons in the game. Absolutely. I love using it. I think it's a really clean gun, and it's definitely one that is on the top of my list for fun guns to use in any capacity. One piece that I wanted to talk about is that shooting through railings is not as easy as it looks. The hitboxes are a bit janky. They have yet to kind of refine that a little bit, but for now, I would say taking a fight through a railing is definitely not going to be as straightforward as you might imagine. There are certain railings that are better than others, but just generally, I would try and stay away from it until they fix it, especially if you've got higher ground than another team. The higher ground doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the fight. In most games you would think it would because you're covered, so to speak, but in this game I would say just try to stay away from fighting through railings at this point. So in this scenario, when you've got a team that's fairly strong that's by your side, just try to engage a little bit. Try to just give a couple of shots, land a couple of shots, don't just hard peek and try to hit and finish off that player, because if all three of you, all four of you are doing that, you can easily kill somebody without anybody dying on your team. Defense is a really good offense. Just try and get into the habit of shooting once or twice and moving. I was able to hit a headshot but not take almost any damage in this scenario. However, mistakes were made. If we both engaged that specific player and then ran away after 2 shots, that player would likely be dead and we would have taken minimal damage. That being said, on top of that, the player was covering the same point of entry that I was looking at while not covering the other point of entry. So kind of just being more of an observer rather than engaging or being defensive. Unfortunately, that meant that the other player on their team was able to push up and engage without any sort of cover. My teammate died almost immediately. So while I was able to take out the initial player, I took a lot of damage and almost died to the second player there, but a large first aid and an aspirin pretty much resets you right back to a full health with no trauma. So because those guys took a close quarters firefight, I knew that the other play was probably heavily damaged, so I wanted to push while they were still doing their healing. But definitely try and add that quick shoot and hide scenario to your repertoire of engagements. GG, bro.
GG, homie.
In my experience, I definitely see a lot of players hard peeking and re-engaging areas where they think that they can just take somebody out. It's basically called ego peeking. So if you think that you're just going to straight up wipe somebody, you got to be absolutely sure. So if these guys are fully kitted, level 12s, level 13s, very strong weapons, mitigating their strength by trying to just quick peek, shoot a couple of times, take cover again. Depending on how much damage you take, maybe you got to heal or something, but just not straight up going in for a 1v1 right off the bat is definitely going to put a lot of heat on them, and they don't know when you're going to re-engage again. This type of strategy means that you're fighting on your terms. In those scenarios, if you and your teammates are quick peeking and taking a little bit of damage while still maximizing your landed shots, you're going to be pretty effective against the other team. In the quick peek scenario, it's also a really good way to go across an opening while still being effective and helping out your teammates and being supportive. So you don't always want to peek from the same side of a doorway. You want to have at least 1 or 2 guys on either side to kind of create that support while not fully engaging and just catching all those bullets that just hit that wall there. So again, showing yourself very little, but also creating maximum damage. Boom, headshot. And as you can see here, my other teammate on the left side of the doorway was able to quick peek as well and able to kill that one player that I had already given a headshot damage to. Another really important component of teams of 3 or 4 is having a flank. So if you've got a bottleneck that you're trying to push, it's way easier and way more effective if you're just the distraction and your teammate flanks from a different area and engages that player, creating angles and stopping them from just being concentrated on that doorway or that stairway, so you're able to finish off the team effectively without losing a teammate or having somebody train their guns on a specific area and you try and push and re-engage again. Alright, so this really isn't an APS expose, but it's a really fun gun to use. I highly recommend it. Here's a really good example of another team flank. This is a really defensible location, and we already had a teammate die here trying to push him. So in this scenario, I'm the distraction. I'm trying to create the illusion of attack by not actually putting my body on the line and having him shoot the wall here. Distracted.
We're coming up. Is he like on bridge?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, he's in the little alleyway. He's running back now.
He's kidding.
So yeah, in this scenario, it's really good to have a distraction, to have the illusion of being attacked from that angle. He was able to hear our flank coming, but with our team communication, we were able to indicate where this player was, where they were moving to, and effectively neutralize them without any problem. At the point of when they were able to hear the flank, it was almost too late at that point because we had map control. All right, one more example of a good flank as well as some APS kill porn. Other side of square for sure. He's dead.
I actually killed one.
They're wearing orange. Holy guacamole, I gotta heal. Wow. So I had to do a bunch of healing, but luckily I had a teammate that was going to be flanking because that doorway into the wet alleyway is a really defensible location. Again, I'm the distraction and we've got somebody flanking behind the player. Just like in my movement video, ducking your head is a really good idea here. Nice, good kill, good kill. That's me, that's me. Alright, one last example of how the L1 is goated, and you guys should definitely not sleep on this gun. Definitely use fully kitted though.
I'm by default.
And speaking of another fully kitted weapon that's cracked, let's talk about the M16.
Shooting at the wall. Yeah.
Got one. Tunnel dead, but the guy's by vault. Still there.
He's still on vault. I hit him once. Okay.
Upstairs or downstairs?
Upstairs.
Careful that right tunnel.
Yeah.
He could be coming downstairs.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead. There's not many things better than a silenced weapon because it's really difficult to ID what weapon somebody has. But generally when somebody has a silenced weapon, I'm usually pretty cautious because you never know when they have an SVT, Tommy Special, or this gun, the M16. It is insanely fun to use, hardly any recoil, and really effective as a head clicker. That being said, it is a very rare weapon. It has been dubbed the unicorn because it is so rare. You can only find the fully kitted version in the vault. I wouldn't recommend the scope on it. The scopes in this game definitely have yet to be something that's impressive to me, but as a weapon in its own, it's something that I would definitely grab. But who knows, maybe you can leave me a comment in the section below letting me know that you have had some really good luck with scoped weapons. You know, it's all personal preference in this game, but just it doesn't click for me quite yet. Now the reason I put this video out is because we did get a nerf on the hip fire in this game. The devs did concede that they maybe swung the pendulum a little bit too far in one direction, so we'll kind of talk a little bit about more of the rifle rifle aspect of the game. And so while there is going to be a bit of a swing back in some of the nerf that had happened in the movement and hip fire aspects of videos that I've made in the past, we don't know how far it's going to swing back. What color are they? This is me coming up. Okay, got that guy. It's always good to keep your options open, and I had quite a lot of fun making this video. So a component of the game that I don't really hear too many people speaking about is that this game is right-leaning dominant. So in some games they have it balanced, whereas Marauders right now they don't have a balance. Right peeking is more beneficial than left peeking. You have less of your body exposed when you're peeking from the right side. There's just a general consensus that right peeking is dominant in this game. Left peeking, you're at a disadvantage. So if you're able to practice that and get used to the idea, always make engagements, try to make it a right-leaning engagement. If you got somebody that's doing left lean, you know, still don't try to do those hard peeks. Don't ego peek somebody if you think, okay, I've got a right peek lean here, but just try to use it to your advantage in any engagement on your terms, as we kind of spoke about before. I always find it's a really good idea to make color callouts. When you find a team a certain color, definitely make those callouts. They're blue, they're over here. Okay. One dead.
One has a brown trench coat.
Yeah, he's dead. Blue guy's on stairs. Oh, he dead too.
Good. Oh yeah, third one up there in that room.
Okay.
He's running. Oh yeah, yeah.
Peek again. Peek again. Oh, that's a bad idea.
God, you're a monster.
Dude, you're a...
If they're blue and you guys are blue, it's good to know these things. It's definitely good to know what kind of kit they have as well. Just any general information rather than they're over here, like I just made the call out. But that being said, they were right behind me, so it's just generally very contextual. However, yeah, making a call out, knowing where the areas are that you're calling out and having a team that knows those call outs is really important. So definitely check out those map guides if you haven't already. Another component of the game that I really wanted to discuss was this idea of becoming the predator.
Oh,
there's another guy over here.
Oh, yeah, I thought that before.
Oh my god, Shaka.
The devs do a really good job of setting up the environment where jump scares, where a lot of emotions run high in this game in terms of just not wanting to get found out, trying to be creeping around, trying to be quiet, hiding in corners like that player was. It's a way easier environment and dynamic if you're able to look past all of that and get into a mode of becoming the hunter rather than the hunted. It's definitely going to take some time. I know obviously this is coming from somebody that has over 1,000 hours in this game, but things like creeping around corners, using tactical walk, ADSing around a corner is just going to get you killed. You know, that person that peeked me with the red helmet that's laying on the ground there, he was doing something that was being very slow and cautious, and it just meant that I was able to pop his head clean off almost immediately. Whereas if he was doing things like in the movement video where you're doing run peeking to see what kind of information you can gather, or you know, even a tactical retreat and getting out of there is better than just being really cautious, sitting in a corner and waiting for your demise to occur. Because generally 9 times out of 10 people are gonna know that somebody's hitting in that corner, waiting for them, kind of ratting in that area. So basically what I'm trying to say is that while you can be cautious, like I've been talking about with these quick shot peaks and then running away, resetting, starting again, you don't want to be slow about it. This game does not give you any benefit for being slow. Slow walking with ADS around a corner just means that your head is going to be peeking out first and it's going to get shot clean off. That being said, these are all tips for people that are already in the intermediate location of their skill level that just want to bump it up to the next level. Beginners, you know, take your time, take all the time that you need to get used to the game and understand the map. There's no pressure on that. I mean, it makes sense if people need to be ratting around and hiding and being a little bit more cautious. I just always see the mid-tier players telling me, oh, you know, I'm being really cautious, slow walking around areas, and then boom, I'm dead right away. And it's like, well, maybe there's a point or a threshold that you need to start thinking, okay, I need to start getting past the environment, past being in my own head in this game, and start becoming the hunter. Alright y'all, well I hope you guys enjoyed the new tactical update video that I put out here in terms of trying to give you guys a better understanding of using rifles as well as being in team play. If there's anything else you guys want to see, don't forget to put it in the comment section below. And as I said before, we've got a little bit of team news. Because we are anticipating that the guild update is coming out, I'm going to be joining a new outfit. We haven't got a name quite yet, but I'm pretty excited to be with this group of people. They're really great at the game. They are really fun fun, great people in general, and I'm just enjoying the idea of playing this game in a clan versus clan scenario. Who knows where this is going to take us? I'm not going to be like completely competitive, but it's going to be a nice little step forward in the Marauders verse. So I'll let you guys know what the team name comes out to be. There was talk of it maybe being Space Please. There might be a revival of the Space Please brand, but for now we'll just goof off and see where this takes us. Alright, thanks for watching everyone, and ciao for now.
My arm's not doing anything.
Alright, bye.
Door closing. Oh, this motherfucker. Guys, it's trapped in here. Help me. Somebody get a flash grenade. Oh fuck, he's gonna shoot me.
I'm tempted, but you get one.
Everybody gets one.
Space Police!
Red your cheeks and lift your sacks.